Welcome back to the channel. So today we're just going to have a bit of an update on what's been going on the channel, on the bench, what's to come, and show you a few things that I've been up to as far as my setup. So this is still really the only corner I've got in this room, which is now going to be probably 2/3 for my use, a third for my partner's use. But I've got an area somewhere else in the house, so we're going to go and have a look at that in a little bit to show you that, and that's where I'm going to be doing some painting, and I've got that set up. So we'll go and look at that, and that gives us an option going forward for some really quite exciting things, which I'm hoping I can bring to you as we go forward on the channel. What I've been working on here, you may see, fingers gone backwards, there's a Corsair. So what I've spent the last period doing is going through models that were almost there. And if you follow the channel, you know, as I've had a lot going on the last sort of 6 months, longer even. So it's been really about me sort of catching up with myself. I was running away ahead of what I should have been doing, really, from a modelling point of view. It is a hobby. I treat it as a hobby, but it's also slightly like a kind of I don't know what word to use. It's not really a business and it's not really professional, but I take it semi-seriously as far as videos are concerned. So make of that what you will. So because of that, I've tried to sort of build in a little bit more structure to it. And I know I say these things sometimes and people go, oh, God, it's a hobby. You know, well, that is part of the hobby for me, making these videos. I really enjoy it and I take it seriously, and I try and sort of plan how I'm going to do future content and bring it to you, so it's actually got some substance. Whereas looking back at the channel, this is my personal critical view. I'm sure a lot of you have enjoyed watching all the videos you've seen. I feel like for the last sort of almost 3 years, when I look back at my channel, it feels completely directionless, which isn't something I enjoy, because even though I can't make videos all the time, I'm always thinking about what I'd like to do. So that leads on to the next thing. We'll talk about what I've been doing, and the main thing, just to finish that point, is this Corsair is painting up 2 figures, which are actually already half painted. One's headless, 48 figures. Can't really see, there's no light, but a pilot and a matey on a what's it. He's driving a thingamy bob, pulling the doodah. One of these things. I mean, it's got a name, Moto Tug. There you go. That might not even be the real name, but that's what Tamiya call it. So that was tied up in I bought the model to do something specifically with, which I did, and I filmed. I then didn't get disheartened. I sort of ran out of steam, but that was always going to go on a base. And I wanted, this is a long story short, is I wanted the Edward base, which was out of production for like 20 years, which was plastic, and I found a 3D printed base. I got the 3D printed, this is a carrier deck. I got a 3D printed carrier deck, which was £14, and it wasn't big enough to show the tug pulling the Corsair, and I thought, and in the intervening time, in the time between those 2 points, I saw that Edward re-released the carrier deck with 2001 printed on the bottom for $7.99. So I bought that, and that's really too big. So I put both bases together and I've slid them behind this wardrobe, and I ain't bothering with it. I'm just gonna show you this Corsair as a finished build like I would with any other aircraft, and it's not going on a base. And when I find the enthusiasm to paint up the 2 carrier decks, I will, and I'll find something to put on them, and all will be well. But you've got to cut your losses somewhere, and this build was never about a carrier deck base, and I was spending so much time getting bogged down in something that was really inconsequential for the video. The whole point of this was a Tamiya model to build it out of the box, more or less, and use the Tamiya decals. So what we will find out in this build is, how did the Tamiya decals go down with the new Tamiya, not Tamiya, the new Mr. What's-It's setting solutions, this one and the green one, and how did that go? What did it do? And did I finally get to the point where I can make Tamiya decals look like they're painted on. That's what we'll find out in this video, and it's going to be coming to you shortly. I think a couple of weeks. Paint these figures off the bench, get it all sorted, and job done. So I've been going through my back catalogue like that. I've got a number of folders. Some of you would be surprised to know what is sort of 90% built, all filmed in a folder, in my video folder, and they just stop. So I'm trying to work my way through some of them before jumping into the exciting world of opening a new box and starting a new build. We all love it. Not everything's going to make it. Not everything deserves it, but some of it does, and I'm going to do my best to bring that forward for my own peace of mind, really. So that's that, and the Corsair kind of marks the end of that. I've built a couple of tanks. The Corsair was one of the last ones that was hanging around. It had so much content, and it was so nearly there. It was just worth pushing through. On that note, I've got my list here. I'm very prepared, more prepared than I've ever been, mainly because I've got an office that's clean and all this paperwork, and I've got a printer, which I've never had at home. So the things I'm able to get done, whereas I usually have scraps of paper like this, jotted down things that change like the wind. You know, I write it down one day and not interested the next day. So I've got a lot of planning done, which is making the content so much better. Off of this list, there's 6 builds on here to do between now, sort of Christmas, no real hard deadline. And then they'll roll out from kind of like September, October through to March. What shall I tell you? Well, Edward Spitfire, not another Spitfire. Well, yes, in fact, yes, another Spitfire. The last Edward Mark 1 Spitfire I built and showed you was a Mark 1. That's kind of a lie, but we'll pretend that's true. So the last Mark 1 Battle of Britain Spitfire that I showed you was from this box, and it was in 2020. 2020. Makes sense, but I wouldn't have believed it. So that's going to be built in July. There's kind of like a non-group build happening. It is certainly nothing official, no pressure. Certainly me, Paddy and Tim, I'm hoping are doing it. Whether you'll see anything publicly from Paddy, that's up to him. But me and Tim will be doing it on our video channels. And he doesn't know, we haven't agreed that, but he's going to be doing a video of it. He might as well film it. So I don't know, I think he's going to build a Hurricane. I'm going to build a Spitfire. He's put it up in his various groups. If you follow British Aviation and Scale and all the rest of it on Facebook, well, there's kind of like a build along between July the 10th and October the 31st, which is when the Battle of Britain happened. I will get on with mine pretty quickly. In fact, I've got one build I've got queued up for June, which I'm not going to tell you because it's totally different for the channel. I don't intend to mess it up, and I certainly intend to finish it, but it's completely different. Civilian vehicle. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm going to bring in civilian vehicles, not massive, maybe 1 or 2 a year, as well as aircraft and armour. And there will be different things, but they're way off. So there'll be something else as well I'm going to bring in, which I've never done on the channel before, and I have wanted to. So as far as civilian vehicles, probably one of the first 10 videos on this channel was a review of a civilian vehicle that I bought. So just to prove the point that I've wanted to do it for a long time, but never got around to it. So I'm going to do the Edward Spitfire in a while for the Battle of Britain. And that's from that original boxing, if you remember it, that came with, and it said Edward Barder. Douglas Bader. That's the guy. Edward Barder, I think, makes fishing rods. After that, you all know as well, because I've shown you the review, I've got the RFM King Tiger. So I'm going to try and do that as well. Outside of that, we'll leave it a mystery. But that's there's a tank and a plane coming. So it's not all tanks, but if you like tanks, it's not all planes. If you like planes, it's not all tanks. Good stuff. And along with that, stuff that's already done. So I've talked about the Polycarp I-16. They've gone so long now, they've gone round a calendar year. So the fact that I built the Polycarp I-16 and the Tamiya Panzer 1 for like a tribute, not a tribute, I don't want to be a tribute to it, release along with like the yearly anniversary of the Operation Barbarossa. I'm just going to wait 2 weeks until we get to that point, and then they'll be released through that. So The i16 needs a little bit of wrapping up. The Tamiya Panzer 1 is on the editing, so it's all done. It's all finished. I've also got a tank I said I was not going to get, a tank kit that I said I wasn't going to get because I didn't know where it placed really. A couple of friends at the club have made me see the light on it, so I'm looking at it there. That's another one of those AliExpress £18 delivered jobs, unbelievable stuff. So I'm going to get that one on the bench, get it built right through, and then tell you what I think that kit is good for. And that's it, really, that I'm going to talk about. I've got a Tamiya 1/48 vehicle as well, which I'm going to do a little bit of... what am I going to do? I'll do something around a technique or a painting, like either like painting modulation or a weathering technique or chipping or something like that. I'm going to use that for that. It was a Christmas present from my parents. It's a 1/48. Well, I can tell you what it is. It's the SS 100. So it's tricky for me to place. It's the Tamiya like tower of Luftwaffe aircraft. I don't really have any Luftwaffe aircraft that would be big enough. It's a lovely excuse to get one, but that's not really on my new schedule, so it doesn't fit in anywhere. So I'll just build the vehicle as itself. Never done any 48 Varma from Tamiya. Wanted to do that. That fills that gap, and yeah, it's going to be good. So there's equal amounts of vehicles, stroke tanks, aircraft, and civilian vehicle. With a sprinkling of a civilian vehicle. I'm only going to do one or two. And when I mean civilian vehicle, I mean something like that isn't military. So there'll be one or two of them a year here and there, and I'll try and break up the armour and aircraft. I'd like to get one or the other, because I think looking at polls, speaking to people, reading comments, I've got a feeling the channel's almost 50-50 aircraft armour, and I think everyone who's into armour doesn't mind seeing an aircraft, and everyone who's into aircraft doesn't really mind seeing armour. But looking back, there hasn't been a lot of aircraft, and I do like aircraft, so we're going to bring that back. Luckily, Corsair, a couple of the other things already in the bag, so very quick to get them to the channel. One quick aside, remarkable, I've got not had a loft, so the kits went out up in the loft. It got moved from the move that we did, and I got a lot of them out because I just couldn't. I had to see them. Do you know what I mean? I had to sort of feel it. I couldn't just look at a list and see. I wanted to see the kit. So over the last 6 weeks, I've got them out, got them around the room, almost to an overwhelming point of view. The ones that I thought shouldn't be in the attic are in the wardrobe, which, well, it's in there. It's got away with it. So we'll see how long that lasts. And I thought just an interesting point. It's very easy to buy a lot of model kits. I haven't stopped. I'm still buying model kits. But as I surrounded myself with all these potential builds, that each one of them I was primed to go, yep, could crack into that, know what I could do, know what I want to do, theme for a video, the whole rest of it. I thought, well, if I allocated 6 weeks to each of these builds, I didn't even have, I couldn't even really, it's not even a fifth, you know, that I don't know what fraction of my stash it was, but it was a horrendously low fraction of whatever it was. And that was enough for more than 3 years if I built a model every 6 weeks. And I thought, okay. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to go and sell a hell of a lot, but it probably means a third of my stash I do not need to own. And I thought, well, that's an interesting thing to come to the realisation of. So I also don't need to sell it yet, but I think it could be useful to maybe have a bit of a strong look at the stash going forward as we get into the autumn, and maybe try and sell off a few, because it's better they're on someone else's shelf or someone else's bench or staying on the shop shelf for a bit longer rather than being in a box in my loft doing nothing. So that was a realisation that I probably should have come to sooner, but it was interesting to have that dawned on me. So right behind this camera, there's the pile to go back in the loft. Over in the corner, there's the pile to build, which is a very happy, satisfying, small pile. And in the wardrobe is the kits, Wingnut Wings kits, for instance. They are too good to be up in the loft. So there we are. Everything's got its place. Now, with that said, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this bench. We're going to flip it now, and the rest of the video we're going to have down in the new area, so I can show you that and we can discuss a few little options going forward. And here we are in the new setup that I've managed to sort out. So what we are now in is an extension or utility room. That's what we're using it as. And this end wasn't really being used, and it wasn't my suggestion. My better half suggested that, well, we could just use this as a, so this is really like a temporary thing over, I don't know, 2-3 years, something like that, until we work out what we're doing. Now, I haven't been massively happy spraying in any of the rooms I've been in recently. So this was since having a child. I like MRP. I mean, even the Tamiya's, everything's going in this old, leveling thinners. So we're spraying cellulose thinners. And where it really dawned on me is I haven't sprayed anything since I've been in this house, and it was all set up to do it. And there was a reason for that, I think, deep down, but I was sort of putting it off a little bit. We've got, I better give them the grace because I haven't done a lot on this. Even though I've mentioned it in a video, I just feel guilty, so we'll put that there. So even though even an airbrush was sent to me, I still haven't got round to actually firing any paint. And the other day I was cleaning something, I can't remember what, with cellulose thinner, and I went out of the room and came back about half an hour later. Even with the window open, it just went like that, and I thought, oh, this isn't really, just wasn't very comfortable. So unbelievably, I've just thought as I came down, I thought, how am I going to film this? I haven't got any lights here. I've only got the one window. So that's how. So this is all natural light. So that's the good news. So right here, there is a window. I wonder if we can show it slightly. He says, bear with. So we've got a nice clear window up there and a door. Don't judge us. Nothing's been deep cleaned yet. This isn't our, everything needs a good clean here. It's showing signs of living in it for a long time, and that's fair enough. What we're going to do is sort of give everything a bit of a facelift, but these are the cabinets we got here at the minute. They're like old kitchen cabinets. They've been cleared out and it's been wiped down. That's as much as we've done. With all that done, then we'll start to do some improvements. So like the craft room will get sorted, this will get sorted, and with that we'll decide whether we carry on like this or we'll go on a bit further. But on the weekend, I put up these units here, which randomly had come out of a wardrobe that we had when we had the room done, and they were all kind of like perfect. I just had to cut something off the top, unscrew them and screw them back in a different way. They were like slatted shelves, and there you go, all the paint's out. So a couple of things I need to say, because I'm starting to ramble on about things that I didn't intend to talk about, is two things. First, I've been filming videos on my phone. I did not realise there was a setting on it because it's a new phone, and everything's been massively overexposed. So I film it. It looks great on the phone. It's brilliant. I don't like to edit it on my phone, so I put it onto my older Windows PC, and it all comes in massively overexposed. And I thought, what? And I thought, maybe that's right. So I put up about 4 or 5 videos that are like that. I always look like bright white, like ill looking. I've managed to work that out. So now everything, when I get it on the computer, looks like it does on my phone, which looks like it did when I filmed it. So we're past that. So if you sat through those very overexposed videos, thank you. I appreciate it, but I've managed to fix that, so that's good. And secondly, thumbnails. Now, my thumbnails are getting a bit sort of like that. I'm going to continue with that because that's what I've wanted to do for a long time. Because those, I'm sure you all know it, but I actually get waves of like guilt and concern when I do a bit of a tasty thumbnail, and I think, well, people who've been subbed to me for 7 years plus going to like this. The good news is the content hasn't changed and isn't going to change, other than getting more, hopefully, slick. It's going to look better, feel better, be more tighter, not so rambly. For all the ones that you like rambly, you've got videos like this where I can't help talking about the things I didn't intend to talk about and I keep rambling on. So you'll still get those videos. But other than that, hopefully like build videos, technique videos, everything like that is going to be tighter, better quality filming, better lighting, etc. And that's all good. But I am going to go for quite quite out there thumbnails because it works. Simply, it works. You get extra views, you get new subscribers, and the whole point of YouTube is not to stagnate. If you can grow the channel and keep it pushing forward, the new people who come in make it better for the people who've been there for a long time. And that's just a fact of how the platform works, and you've got to keep going. So I'm not intending to do sort of like, oh my God things. There's been a couple of them, which even for me is a bit too much, but just sort of jazz it up. So if you see a thumbnail that you think that's a bit bonkers, don't worry that the content's going to be all clickbait. It's not clickbait. Slight cut there while I try and work out what on earth it is I'm sat here trying to talk to you about. So, number of things. First thing, paints. Right. I've got a whole load of MRP there. MRP, I'll say it now, is my favourite paint. Always has been. I doubt that will change. But my staple is Tamiya, and I'm really quite precious on having the entire Tamiya range, and I do not like to not have one colour. I don't know why, that's my staple. I personally think Mr. Colour is a better paint, and that's the lacquer version. Probably Aqueous is a better paint, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to harden off. It's always sticky, so I've gone away from Aqueous. So my go-tos are Tamiya XF and X, Mr. Colour and MRP. The only downside with Tamiya, which is a real good workhorse, is the colour range, as everyone knows. That's where Mr. Colour backs me up. So here I've got a lot of the... I've got some paints that are out of shot that would tell you about the civilian vehicles, so that's good. You can't see them. The Mr. Colour has my Luftwaffe range, my RAF range, and... oh, what's the other thing? Oh, and the US aircraft range. That's what they're brilliant for. Tamiya is great for just having that paint you want out of the box. Also good for when you're trying to do like a Tamiya model and it says spray it this colour. I just like having them. I don't know why. It's probably literally a nostalgia thing. It's probably nothing more than that, but I like it. And then this MRP down here, this is my entire Luftwaffe range with good, again, workhorse paints, which is white, black, because it's just, you spray the black by the time you've rinsed out the spray cup in the spray brush, in the airbrush, you're ready to go. It's hard as nails. That's what I like about it. Exhaust, they're clears, which I'm actually going away from, but I also still like, but that's a different thing. All that's to say is over this side is MRP that I don't use so much. I need them for so it's the entire range of the British tank colours, the entire range that I've used maybe one or two of once, apart from SCC 15. Which I might need a new one. It's got the RAF colours, which I don't like actually. If there's anything in the MRP range, it's the certainly the early war RAF colours. I tend to go for Mr. Colour or Tamiya, which do have good RAF colours. Some Alclads, I think the day's done for them as far as I'm concerned. And then up here we've got the RAL German tank colours. So what I'm going to do is I've got the LP range from Tamiya up here, which is kind of a whole load of sort of weird numbers. I'm going to fill that in. I've booked that in with the supplier that I want to talk about. It's the whole reason I'm getting on to paint. And I've got 60 colours to add, but I ain't going to do that all in one go, so I'm going to draw them off over a number of visits. So I'm going to bring LP down here, up there, and then try and fit it in somewhere else. So my main paint ranges will be MRP when called upon, when needed, for doing Luftwaffe camouflage really. My modelling is generally what I use them for. Mr. Colour And then the entire Tamiya range, the entire, I'm going XF, X and LP, everything, one of everything, why not? And where I get my paint from is where I get a lot of my kits from, but the paint specifically is scalemodelling, and I wanted to give them a shout out because I've been using them for a long time, well, ever since they opened, so coming up a year possibly soon. But the chap there, Adam, has just done a online store for all of non-kits, everything that's not a kit basically you can buy, and very reasonable prices, very reasonable postage, just straight out raw mail postage, so it's not expensive, and I would love it if you wanted to get some paint, help out a small shop whose whole reason for existing is to bring the model shop back to the high street. Although he's got an online shop, the place is all about people visiting. That's what he wants. He's got opened up a shop in a market town where there isn't a whole load of new shops opening, and he's made a good go of it, and it's really nice to see, and I'm happy to support him. Pretty much all my kits, the Corsair that we were looking at, have come from him in the last almost a year, like I say, and I definitely get all my paint. That's where I've got these LP paints to draw off, and that's what I like to do. So thought I'd give him a shout out. I've put a link below just to show you where the website is, and if you need some paint or want to try it, he's got most of the Mr. Colour range, if not all of it, all the Tamiya ranges, and quite a few others, some that I don't use as well, Vallejo, AK, all that sort of thing. So have a look through the website. You know, very new to it, so go and overwhelm him with orders. That would be something interesting, wouldn't it? Give him a busy week. But no, very well worth supporting that shop. And if you're ever in the area in Somerset, well, scalemodelling is well worth popping into. The amount of kits there is actually surprising. I've got to be honest. I think he's doing very well with it as far as his vision and how he's implementing that. And I think he's also doing shows as well, not just locally. So keep an eye out, and a shop well worth supporting. So as I now round this video up, thank God I hear you all saying, what I'm going to be doing here is this area gives me the option now to film spraying paint properly. It is now not just a little tiny corner on the edge of my workbench that's got paint everywhere and no light, no I'm not going to get annoyed about the bird. I think it's wonderful to be able to look out the window and see birds, so we'll just go with him. It's a very young blackbird, I think, having a go at a seagull. Fair enough. So what we've got to do here is, I think I can show you airbrushing techniques and how I do it, and anything you really want to know, to be honest, here. And I find it exciting to know that, really, to see it. I've got every possible thing open to me with this space. With the, you know, aerosol cans I've even started using. I've got spray primers. I was thinking about getting the Tamiya ones, but I started with this, and this has been a revelation, priming some model kits with these. So what I've always done is never really talked about people who brush paint or don't have airbrushes. Well, you can get a long way with a Halfords or Tamiya rattle can primer and just a colour. If you know, Dunkelgelb if you're doing a tank, or tricky on an aircraft. Not impossible, but tricky, because it all needs to be one colour. That's the problem. It's difficult to do camouflage. But either way, we could show stuff like that. I've got so many models, as I've just discussed. It's easy for me to do some mock-ups as well with models that I know I'm never going to build and aren't worth selling. So just bang them together, no internals, put a cockpit straight on there, and we can do some tests. So let me know. What's crucial here is you letting me know in the comments down below what you'd like to see from that point of view, and I'm happy to do it. I've got time, he says, here and there. I've got time I can allocate to this. I've got the space, I've got the equipment, I've got the light. It's just a matter of standing here and doing it. And I want to bring this sort of content to the channel. I'm sat here quite excited, looking forward to it, and I hope you all are too. So hopefully that sounds like there's a lot there coming on down the line. My intention now is to have weekly videos for the foreseeable future and not have a stop because I get busy or I run out of steam, etc. And I plan to have a lot of them in filmed in a head. So there we are. Hope that sounds of interest. I will just leave you with one thing. You can stop now. You don't have to listen to this next thing. Video ends there, wonderful. But if you're willing to go on to that extra mile and you're a super fan and you want to sit here and listen one more time, I'm working on a series which I've committed to mentally. I've got to commit to it physically, which I'm not going to say too much about. It's not like it's a taster, because it isn't going to see the light of day for a long time as it is. But I'm getting the kits together. I think it's a really good idea. I think it's a unique idea. I've not seen anyone do anything like it. And again, that's really driving me forward. And it would be very good for the channel. And if it all comes off, you'd start to see it in the future. Some way in the future. So I'm going to get my head down to that. I'm actually in a pre-production phase to sound massively professional. I've run the idea past a couple of people just to see if you think, is it sort of a bit too mad? But I don't think it is. I think it's going to be very interesting. And my real view of it is it's a series that come the end, looking back at it, is where it would really show itself. So I'm not going to say any more on that other than maybe show you a few things here and there that I'm working on. This isn't to be one massive secret. I don't think it's the sort of thing anyone's going to do if they heard about it. But I don't want to put pressure on myself, but I'd like to just let you know that I'm working on something that I do like the idea of a series, and I think this could be great. So it's good for me. It's showing me new things already, which I'm really excited about. And the whole thing is, I mean, you know, of course, suppress a modeler who's up for modelling but can't really do it for one reason or another, and then give him the free run. I've never felt anything like it. It's like don't know. I don't know if I've ever really been this. Maybe those first few videos, you go back in the channel and you see me with me blue paper lent on the side, talking about how I've never built an aircraft before, and I've just built an aircraft and it was the best thing ever. And I've gone to this new model show called Telford. Has anyone heard of it? I'm kind of back there, and it's a fantastic thing. And I hope that's starting to show in the channel, and I hope that it pushes on through a bit more. So thanks for watching. And if you stayed this long, you really are a trooper. How can I say it any better? So as always, thanks for watching. Let me know your comments down below regarding any airbrushing demos, any side of that sort of thing, techniques and tips that you'd like to see, and I'll look forward to reading them. And in the meantime, keep modelling, and I'll see you in the next video.